What's up? Gonna show you some records that I've gotten. It's been a little bit. So we're just gonna get right into it. So I'm gonna show the records. I'm not gonna go into a whole lot of detail because I find that a lot of the fun of digging and finding your little treasures is the research with it. It's so easy now to just go online and look something up and research something in like 2 seconds. I post a lot of these on Instagram, and I put all the information on Instagram, and you can find it under my name. It's just like on here. But the first, I have a hard time finding a lot. Bill's Box of Sound shows a lot of Residents, a lot of Snakefinger, a lot of the obscure stuff. I really like his channel. I found a couple of other channels just recently that show and go into a lot of detail. If you want any detail about any of these records, go to Bill's Big Box of Sound. Bill's Box of Sound. He goes into detail about everything. He's very knowledgeable. But the first record here is Snakefinger's Vestial Virgins, Night of Desirable Objects. This is an original pressing. 1986 is when this came out. This is primarily original music. It sounds very 80s. It's a good listen. I wouldn't say that if I was getting into Snakefinger that this would be my first record to get. But it's a good record. It's avant-garde, kind of electronic in that one. A lot of guitar playing. Snakefinger, Philip Charles Littman, is the guitar player who also played with the Residents, was their guitar player. So a lot of the sounds, when you put on a Residents record or a Snakefinger record, you know Snakefinger, you know he's playing like right off the bat. It's him. This next one is Against the Grain. This is also a good one. I wouldn't say that this is one that I would start with immediately, but it's pretty good. This one came out in 1983. And I don't know if that Vestial Virgins is, I believe it's an original press. I believe all these are original presses or early. This is on Ralph. All these are on Ralph Records or Cryptic Corp. This next one came out. This is, actually, I saw this on Bill's channel. This is Snakefinger. Secretrecords.com, if you look there. They sell a lot of these. You'll see these online for $50 to $100. You can still get this from Secret Records. They have it, 22 bucks. It's a good record. This is limited. I think this is number 63 of 100. If you can see that. And this is on kind of a weird pink and white vinyl. It's pretty cool. The artwork is definitely awesome. But Snakefinger, this is a lot of live, some demos. There's a story that goes behind it when Secret Records was reissuing some of the Residents records. They came across like some demo tapes and archive tapes from 78 and 82. Some new demos that were going to go on a new records that was going to come out before he died. And then a live from 1987, some live tracks on here. So it's an interesting listen. The artwork on the album is just awesome. I love this record. I've been listening to it quite a lot. Bill showed this, so that's why I had to get it. Now, if I was going to get started with Snakefinger, this is definitely one that I would get. Chewing Hides the Sound. This one, 1979, I believe. Fantastic record. I've got this on CD as well. Actually, all these I've got on CD as well. The Ralph, I think this is probably one of my favorite labels, is Ralph Records label. Cryptic Corporation, again, Snakefinger was their guitar player. I believe the Residents worked heavily with him on a lot of these records, so it's kind of all intertwined. But like I said, you can go through, if you really get into Snakefinger, you'll want to research a lot of this stuff. Manual of Errors, 1982. Another really good one. The tracks on this, it's not as hard to listen to as a Residents record. Snakefinger is a lot easier to listen to. He's a blues guitar player, but very avant-garde. He's one of these musicians that knows how to play. Another Ralph label. Excellent record. This one, Chewing Hides, The Sound. Chewing Hides, The Sound. That's one to get. This would be one to get maybe later, like maybe your third record. If I was going to get into Snakefinger, this would be maybe my third one. But there's a song Yeti on here that's awesome. Bring Back Reality. Everything on this. But I love, I'm kind of biased because I love everything that he does. It's kind of like whenever I gravitate, or whenever I latch onto a band, I try to consume every single thing that they've got, and I don't discriminate from one record to the next. Now, with popular music, that's a little bit different because there are some shitters in that group, and there are some bangers. But when it comes to avant-garde and the approach that the artist takes to each piece of art that they're putting out, it's hard for me to say I don't like this and I don't like that. There is some stuff that the Residents will do that I can't listen to sometimes. But if I'm in the right mood, it'll hit me, like the Mole Show or something like that. And I'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But this Snakefinger is really good. I think this would be a safe bet if you got into Snakefinger. That and the Chewing Hides, The Sound. This one is another really good one. These last three Snakefinger records that I'm showing you, Greener Pastures and Chewing Hides. There is a CD that you can get that has both records on there. That's where if I was gonna start, that's where I'd start. Or go to YouTube and see. But here's Greener Pastures, Golden Goat, The Man in the Dark Sedan. I believe The Model is on Chewing Hides, The Sound. That's a really good song. Jungle Princess, Living in a Van, Save Me from Dali. I mean, these are all really good records. So if you were going to start off and, it's kind of like when you listen to The Residents or Primus or some band like that, if you hit the wrong album at the wrong time and you're just not ready for it, you're turned off by them. These last three records, really good. Very easily you could listen to them and not be turned away too quickly. Some of it's a little different. It's kind of like listening to Beefheart. If you start off with Trap Mask Replica and you're not really into avant-garde music, it might be a little tough listen, But if you start off with Doc at the Radar Station or something that's a little more easier to listen to, and then start digging into the artist, then, that might be a little safer bet. The Residents Pal TV. This is probably one of my favorite Residents record covers, just because it's got them in their eyeballs before Mr. Skull appears. Now, this record has, I believe it was released in the UK in 1983. The Mole Show is on one side, and then the Violinist Fats songs are on side 2. Lord It's Lonely and The Knife Fight on side 2. This is an excellent record. Again, starting with The Residents, I would probably find something like The Gingerbread Man, the song The Gingerbread Man first, or Duck Stab Buster Glenn with The Residents. I can show some of those records later. But that's a good record. Now, Hardy Fox, before he died, came out and announced that he was basically the main composer of The Residents. And in 2018, recorded a bunch of songs and then put out an album. And then subsequently died of a brain tumor shortly after. Now, I got this record. This record, if you look into his eyes, as I'm listening to this record, it's like you're looking into this dude's eyes and you can feel, I mean, this is like a complete naked approach to music where he bears everything, inner secrets, sexuality, deepest thoughts. His voice is very spoken word, but he sings as well. And you'll recognize his voice in a lot of the older Resident songs. The Picnic Boy, I believe he sings that one. But yeah, he came out. This is also released on Secret Recordings. This is number 176 out of 350. And I believe they're selling pretty quick. But again, if you're not ready, I would sample this first before you listen to it. This may not be your cup of tea. It's on clear vinyl, Secret Records, and they're extremely fast shipping. Excellent, easy to work with. And they're also putting out limited Residence records. And they also have some other stuff that's, thrash, stuff very similar to Slayer, maybe, things like that. Ronaldo and the Loaf, they're releasing limited stuff with Ronaldo and the Loaf. So I really like this record company. High quality jackets, I mean everything. But Hardy Fox, main composer of The Residents, so this is him right here, and he came out and announced that. So it's kind of weird seeing him without the eyeballs or hidden, but then you can go back and look at interviews and stuff like that. If you're a real Residents fan or really deep into the Residents, you pretty much know who all's in the band. But there's always that little bit of doubt. But this is verified. Penn Jillette even came out. He did an interview that's on YouTube that also talks about that and what kind of man this person was. From what I understand, from all the interviews that I've seen of him doing, very soft-spoken, very pleasant. Not what you would expect when you listen to The Residents and hear those sounds, when you relate it to this person. So it's just very, very heartwarming, and I really dug that album. I mean, it captivated me for about 3 days. I couldn't stop listening to it, and it just pulled me right in, and it was like he opened up his soul and just let everything out. It's pretty amazing. But maybe I'll do some more videos, and I'll see you around the bend. Later.